Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs?
What's up?
My name's Morgan Colby. I got Ricardo Lemon with me as always.
How we doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing spectacular. Fantastic. It's June 20th. Let's see. How many days till the 4th of July?
It's like 2 weeks.
2 weeks away, huh? Oh, wow. That is exactly 2 weeks away. Look
at that.
You were looking at this calendar, weren't you?
No, I just took a guess because it's the 20th.
And from that point, right? Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Bear with me. We would be 3 weeks away from camp.
Oh, there you go.
So we're getting closer here. I just want training camp. I'm going to go to every training camp practice I can think of. I cannot wait. I also can't wait for July to be over because I feel like everything busy in the summer happens in June and July. And then once that's over, it's like August is just like a dead month.
Yeah, which I'm good with right now. I would take that. I'm currently sitting on my floor, so.
Yeah, Rick is in the process of moving. No, he's not moving back here so he can actually physically be on the podcast.
No.
He's moving down the street from his current locale.
Yes.
But anyway, all right, another mock draft that we got on this show, and as we inch closer to July and August, the ADP is starting to stabilize a little bit, and we're starting to get more realistic ADP on Sleeper of what is going to be the case in August. Usually around July is when you actually have like the full ADP and things are ready to go. So, good stuff in that department, but we're going to do mock draft 4.0 on this show and break that down. And then the next show after this will be QB Sleeper. So we'll talk about some QBs that people might be sleeping on going into this year. But before we jump into that, check our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, please leave a review. Share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below any questions you may have. And if you got this far in the episode, comment Aaron Rodgers sucks.
Okay. Yeah, do that.
As we talk about him on the next show. Sneak peek. So like I said, we are doing a mock draft today. It is going to be this is going to be a normal mock draft. So we'll have 12-team PPR, 15 rounds of draft. My computer is lagging. This is good. But a 15 round draft, and we will attempt to do that very quickly. I'm going to turn on my sound now so that doesn't confuse
Good call.
us. Did I glitch out on your end?
No.
Oh, okay, good, because my computer just did. But we're good to go.
You're good.
We're good to go. You want to get the draft started?
Let's do it.
All right, started. Boom. All right, so now oh my God, Travis Kelce. This is the second draft in a row. What is his ADP? What is the actual...
Jamar Chase almost fell in.
If that happened, I probably would have ripped my pants off. What actually is going on with Travis Kelce's ADP?
I don't know, man.
Is it really that high? I hope it is.
I don't think it's that high. I think it's like 106.
More idiots can take him that high.
Yeah, I wish it was that high.
Now, Bihan going off as the third running back on the board, is that getting a little too hype? I
think that is probably where I'm going to have him. Anywhere from like RB3 to RB5, probably.
Okay, fair enough. I think Atlanta sucks, so that kind of...
Yeah, that's a little... Like, I wouldn't take him over Chase, and I probably wouldn't take him over Hill, but he's in that conversation with JT and Saquon, so...
Fair enough. We had Christian McCaffrey 101, Justin Jefferson 1-2, Travis Kelce, Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase, and then Tyreek Hill came off the board. So Rick and I are both at pick 9 and 10 here. At the back end of the first round. So we're not going to get the pick of the litter here in the first round. But we do get different choices. So you can choose to either go running back here or wide receiver. That's what I would suggest. Last time we were forced to take a quarterback and a tight end. I ain't doing that this time. Tell you that much. But so the question is, at the turn, especially in a PPR league, is it better to get the wide receiver now and hold off, or take the running back and build off of that and hope that I can get a guy in the second round? Because I know I'm going to get sniped on a dude. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to take Shake and Bake.
Okay.
1-9. As a fourth
I'm going to. Yeah, this is tough.
All of these guys feel like second round picks to me.
They do as well. See, my problem is that it feels like the pick here is probably JT, right? But I'm not crazy about JT. And I want to see what my projections are, but I'm definitely scared of him. The offense with Anthony Richardson too at quarterback, how is his goal line touches going to be? How is the offense going to be? I'm going to take Stephon Diggs. This is my guy.
Oh, Stephon. Jonathan Taylor in the second round.
Yeah, so it ends up being Diggs, Adams. Do you like Devontae Adams this year?
That's a really good question.
I have seen myself not draft him a lot, so
I feel like Adams, if Jimmy G is the quarterback, I don't mind Adams.
Yeah.
But if they choose to go in another direction, or Jimmy G is hurt and they have to go with a backup,
which I think Jimmy G being hurt is
the more likely
scenario.
I don't believe that Devontae Adams is going to be that great in fantasy football, and to take him as like the sixth wide receiver off the board is a little bit tone deaf. If he was like late second round, early third, I might take a risk on him. But
I would take him then.
I think the value is too high right now.
I would not take him in the first round. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you guys don't know ball or something along those lines. But like Adams with Garoppolo will be, I think, okay. But if Garoppolo gets hurt at all, like I just don't trust him with any other guy for a significant period of time. And that Raiders team to me is a ticking time bomb, it feels like, with playing in that division. But, maybe things go well. Garoppolo stays healthy.
Yeah.
All things go well, and he ends up being like a wide receiver 4 or 5 or 6 or something like that. So it's not awful, but I just wouldn't take him in the first round. Anyway, after Adams, we got CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry. I'm going to take A.J. Brown here, going 2 receivers.
Oh, Mike.
It's just the best player available, in my opinion. So I like my receiver room.
I really thought I was going to have A.J. Brown on the board.
No, you weren't. There's still a couple of good players here. There's a lot of good players.
But you stole my heart.
You have basically the whole second round of guys to choose from outside of.
So because Jamison Williams is suspended, I think Amon-Ra is a really great pick in the mid-second round. I love Garrett Wilson for the Jets, regardless of what happens with that team and if they win football games. I do think that he's got the potential to be an elite wide receiver in the NFL, and his value is really high, so there's definitely a lot of risk tied to that selection. So if you're in a PPR league and then you have Jalen Waddle, I would say like Amon-Ra is the least risky player you could draft here.
Yeah.
And then like Wilson is the smash breakout, like superstar pick.
Yeah.
And a Waddle would just be the middle of the road, like in between those. So I would say safe St. Brown, risky Wilson, and then Jalen Waddle is Jalen Waddle.
I think honestly, I would say I would agree with you on that. I think Amon-Ra and Waddle, though, are both pretty safe. And even Wilson is kind of safe, but he's definitely less safe than those other two.
Yeah. Like he's shown that he could be a really good wide receiver in the NFL, but he hasn't shown like that he can get 260 fantasy points.
Top. Yeah.
So I'm gonna, because of my first 2 round picks, I'm gonna take Amon-Ra St. Brown and play it safe a little bit, and get
Not
a
a bad
guy
pick.
that I know is gonna produce. After my pick, Pat Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, 3 quarterbacks in the second round, Garrett Wilson, Tony Pollard, Chris Olave, Breece Hall, Ramondre Stevenson, Najee Harris, T. Higgins, Mark Andrews, ETN, and then Keenan Allen all came off the board from 2-5 all the way to 3-8. Now I'm back on the clock, and I could go another running back here. That probably would be a smart idea, and there's some good guys here that you could definitely do that with. Knowing Rick is in the position that he is in where he does not have running backs, I love to take advantage of situations like that and take guys
That
away
sounds
from
so
him.
evil.
It really is, but it's a good strategy because he has to take a running back, and if there's a guy on the board right now that you want, then now would be the time to do that. So I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs as my second running back.
That would have been the running back I would have taken. Yeah, so here I'm not too stressed about it because there are a couple guys that I feel okay about. I'm gonna take the best player available in my opinion. I'm gonna go Devontae. No, I won't. No, I won't. I'm changing that because I have AJ Brown. If I didn't have AJ Brown, I would take Devontae Smith here.
Okay.
This is tough. I'll go Kenneth Walker. I'm okay with that. Yeah, so then Smith, Joe Mixon, TJ Hawkinson, Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
And I am now going to I'll go Debo, best player available.
Whoa!
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd probably go receiver here, but you could definitely go quarterback too if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could.
Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson.
I thought there was a part of me that thought about Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to choose wide receiver, though, and finish off the receiver room at least the top of the thing, at top of the team. And I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's a good pick. That would have been my next receiver off the board after Debo.
As you get further in the draft with your wide receivers, they do get a little bit more risky, and Ridley has not played in a year. So there's obviously some risk tied to drafting a guy like that. But I'll take the risk here. I have one guy that's safe, one guy that's a little bit risky. But after my pick, Aaron Jones, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Amari Cooper, Hopkins, Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins, Kittle, and Justin Fields all go off to finish the 4th round. Start of the 5th, you have Drake London, Justin Herbert, Miles Sanders. Wow, I was about to say Keenan Pitts. That's not right. Kyle Pitts, McLaurin, Godwin, Pierce, and then DJ Moore. And then I'm going to go with a receiver again. This one is based on my belief that I think the Packers offense is going to be mid. And that'll be good enough for a guy like Christian Watson. So I'm going to take Christian Watson off the board. There is some good guys here like Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Ayuk, that you can go with, but I'm going to take Christian Watson here. I think he has a lot of upside as well.
I feel like I need to get my RB2 before it's too late. I could go Madison. I fear that Minnesota is going to add a running back, whether that's Kareem Hunt, Zeke, Fournette, somebody along those lines. I don't think it's going to be Madison's backfield alone. Even if they don't add anyone, they're probably going to be a RB by committee. I don't think Madison's going to be a workhorse. So I will take DeAndre Swift. Although I thought about Dalvin Cook as well, but I kind of want to see where he ends up landing beforehand. So after Swift, we got Dallas Goedert, Madison, Dalvin Cook, and Jerry Jeudy. Now this is where it's really interesting because there's a lot of choices here. Pittman's not too bad. Hollywood Brown, maybe. Brandon Ayuk, as you mentioned. I think Mike Williams is pretty good here as well. If I wanted to go that route, I don't mind Darren Waller here in the 6th round. You know what? I'm going to change things up. I'll go Darren Waller. I haven't taken him in a lot. I think with the Giants, he's going to be their top receiving option. Just looking at that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
So I think I think he's like the tight end 7 or 8 off the board. I'm willing to take that
I'd be
flyer
really.
over guys like Evan Ingram and Njoku.
The only thing that concerns me is I do think Waller is kind of high. But the Giants also have 0 people to throw the ball to, so there's that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested. Like, I think it's a little high as well. But after my projections, I think I could be really high on Waller this year. So
Yeah.
I'm taking the bet on that.
Hollywood Brown, not a bad pick in this region. My only concern is, like if Kyler Murray ends up playing, after the first month of the season, I think Hollywood Brown could be a decent selection. But if he's out for an extended amount of time into the regular season, and they have a backup quarterback playing, who'd you say earlier, Rick? Clayton Tune?
Yeah, Clayton Tune.
5th round quarterback. Marquise Brown is probably not going to have a great season if that's the case. If Murray goes in and plays, I think Hollywood could have a really good season and be really good, but it just depends on where Kyler's injury is, if he's going to start week 1, what those situations happen. So for now, I'm holding off on Hollywood in a lot of the mock drafts that I'm doing in an effort to be patient on what that situation might look like. Now, as for my pick, Rick and I had talked earlier about the situation with the quarterback last week or the week before, and the fact that there's like 9 good quarterbacks, and then after that, it's kind of just a hodgepodge of guys, and you're taking a risk with all of them. And the last guy in that tree right now, generally speaking, is Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence here and get a quarterback at 6'4", and not worry about that later. After my pick, Marquise Brown, James Conner, Michael Pittman, Cam Akers, Javonte Williams, Rashad White, Mike Williams, Isaiah Pacheco all finish out the 6th round. Going into the 7th, we have
a run on wide receivers.
Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson, David Montgomery, Christian Kirk, Alvin Kamara, Treylon Burks, and George Pickens. Kamara is becoming a significant value, considering that there has been 0 news about his suspension that people were talking about.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. He could be a value, and then he could just get suspended for like 10 games out of nowhere.
It literally could go either way. So at this point, it kind of gets a little bit more difficult. I do like Jordan Addison, but I do feel like he's starting to move up boards a little bit, and that makes me a little nervous. Tyler Lockett's not bad, but I hate drafting guys like that.
Guys like Tyler Lockett?
Yeah. Like, I feel like he's old and he doesn't have a quarterback, kind of. People be like, Geno, man, what are you talking about? Geno. Man, what do I do with this pick? Well, we got a running back. We got James Cook, AJ Dillon, Antonio Gibson. I think I'm gonna go Gibson here. I'll reach a little bit and go Gibson.
That's not bad. I'm surprised you didn't go with the move. That's what I thought you were gonna go.
I was thinking about it, but I'm like, I'm gonna take a different approach and go tight end a little bit later.
That's totally fair. I'm gonna go receiver here. I'm gonna go Kadarius Toney, 7'9", and then we got Dak, Tyler Lockett, Deshaun Watson, the quarterback I wanted in the beginning of the 8th round. Interesting. James Cook
pooped on.
I did just get pooped on. James Cook was next. I think Addison is probably the best player available at this point. I do feel like I need a 3rd running back, though, and I think there's a tier breaker here. The last running back I'm willing to draft in the first 8 rounds, and that is A.J. Dillon. I think last year we saw a little bit of A.J. Dillon getting used more than Aaron Jones. I think each year they're kind of shifting towards that. And I think this year they're going to use Aaron Jones, continue more as a receiver, and A.J. Dillon's going to get like 200 carries on the ground. So as a RB3, I don't hate.
And you left Jordan Addison on the board for me, so I appreciate that.
No problem.
I appreciate that. So I take Jordan Addison. Like I said, I feel like the 7th round, I probably, like, regardless of where I am in the 7th round, there are guys I like over him. Like, I would take Treylon, I would take Jordan Addison way over Treylon Burks. I don't know. I don't understand that.
I don't think I would.
I like Treylon Burks. I do. But 0 of his rookie season showed me anything. Like, there was not a single play that I was like, ooh, Treylon Burks.
He had
like, he's getting drafted. In this draft, he got drafted ahead of George Pickens, who had a plethora of plays where I was like,
he definitely had a better rookie year. Burks had one game where he had, you know what it is? He had 1 touchdown last year. But he had one game where he had 8 targets, 7 catches, 111 yards.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think the Titans, their problem is they just blow. They're one of the worst passing teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
But this year, he's at least going to be the clear number 1, where last year they had Robert Woods.
Yeah, I think that's the hope. But
yeah, I get what you're saying, though. It's kind of hard to trust.
Like, it's a
dart throw.
It's a very, like, Kadarius Toney's a dart throw because we haven't seen him on the field for longer than 10 minutes, let alone have a huge successful season.
Yeah.
And so, but like, he's on a team that has a quarterback.
Right. It's got Patrick Mahomes.
So I don't understand.
And when he was on the field, he was really good.
I don't understand the Treylon Burks thing, but like, I'd take George Pickens over Jordan Addison. I would take Deontay Johnson, Brandon Ayuk over him. So and then I'd probably take Kamara over him and Antonio Gibson. So there's a lot of guys in that round that I would look at and be like, okay, so Addison, if he's in the 8th round, he's a guy that I'll probably end up taking. But if he goes any higher than that, I don't know that I can buy in. But after my pick, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Pat Freiermuth, Quentin Johnston, Jahan Dotson, Brian Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jamal Williams. Was that Jameson Williams or Jamal Williams?
That is
Jamal. That's a running back.
That's
Sorry,
Jamal,
I'm an idiot. Brandon Cooks, and then going into the 9th round, we have Evan Ingram, Samaje Perine, Khalil Herbert, Tua, Anthony Richardson, David Njoku, Zach Charbonnet, and Rashad Penny. I've never seen a rookie quarterback get this hyped up.
Well, Trevor Lawrence, when he was a rookie, was getting drafted as top 10, which was a disaster. We all knew it.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm going to do something that I haven't done and do a massive dart throw draft selection.
Do it.
Gabe Davis. I hate Gabe Davis.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Michael Thomas.
I take Gabe. No, I'm not going to draft Michael Thomas ever again. Every single time it's like, oh, he's going to play. Never mind. He'll tweak his hamstring and be out for the year again. I'm taking Gabe Davis because I don't. A, it's a 9th round. B, he's like one of those boomer bust players. So there's going to be a week where if he's against a good matchup or there's a number 1 receiver on Stefan Diggs, he can have an explosion week. That has happened many times. I don't think he's this big breakout wide receiver. Everyone has this big obsession with Gabe Davis and thinking he's going to be this breakout wide receiver every freaking year. And I'm like, oh, it's the Gabe Davis year. No.
Right. No, that's not happening.
It's not happening. But he does provide some fantasy relevance and some fantasy value.
I kind of like him more in best ball than I do in redraft. And I kind of wish I don't have any Gabe Davis shares because I'm uninterested
in best ball drafts.
But I actually do wish I had some in best ball.
In best ball drafts,
because he'll get you 30 in a random week.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he'll follow it up with 5-point weeks.
Guys like Gabe Davis and Mike Williams and some of those guys are huge in best ball.
Right.
Just because of that. So, anyway, I take him here for that reason. But I also, little subplot. Stefan Diggs apparently got issues with the Bills.
Apparently.
So,
although right after the whole thing blew up about him not being in camp, he showed.
But there's still reports that he's upset.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's not a good look for the Bills.
And every Vikings fan in the comments were like, "Told you so."
He loses
for all those posts because he's kind of a historical. I don't want to say diva receiver, but
yeah. So I mean, to me, if anything happens with Stefan Diggs, I want to be on the Gabe Davis train.
Right.
I want to be the guy that has Gabe Davis and not the guy that doesn't have him. So anyway.
Right. No, that makes sense. For my pick, I got to go quarterback here. I feel like I'm running out of some of the ones that I would feel okay with being my week 1 starter. So I'll go with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's probably the last guy on the board that I'd feel okay with starting week 1. Then we had Cortland Sutton, Dalton Schultz, Michael Thomas, finally, Zay Flowers. And then here I will go with Jamison Williams to sit on my bench for a couple weeks.
This is an interesting one for me. There's 2 guys that scream draft me.
Yep.
Devin Akane.
Mm-hmm.
I really like him, and looking at my running back situation, I don't have them, so it'd probably be smarter to take them. There might be some other running backs that fall to me that I could invest in, but I feel like there's a massive drop-off after this. But I also really like Bateman, so I'm confused. I'm going to take Devin Akane just to bolster the running back room. Had I taken a running back anywhere earlier and I already had 4 guys, I would take Rashad Bateman there. So I think it's fair to take either one of those guys in that slot, but I took Akane because I needed the depth at running back. After my pick, Kirk Cousins, Rashad Bateman, Lazard, Geno, Beckham, Elijah Moore, Daniel Jones, Kincaid in the 10th round, going into the 11th. Damian Harris, 11. Jacoby Myers, Elijah Mitchell, Chig Okonkwo, Cole Kmet, Tyler Algier, Russell Wilson, and Jerick McKinnon. So now I'm getting fricked at the tight end position. Nice.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so I'm going to go wide receiver again. I actually, I don't love what's going on with I like what's going on with the Chicago Bears. I think they have a really good, team now, offense. They got a lot of talent.
They at least have a lot of talent, yes.
But what makes me nervous is, I don't know that Justin Fields is going to be a 600 pass guy. So if that's the case, a lot of the targets are going to go towards DJ Moore, and I don't think Darnell Mooney is going to get a lot. But when you're talking about a guy in the 11th round that could have the possibility of having a little bit of a larger role in the offense.
Especially because there's reports that the Bears are really unhappy with Chase Claypool.
Yeah, they don't.
So if you take him out of the equation, they kind of bury him. Even if the Bears don't throw it 600 times, he could still have a decent role in the offense.
Yeah, he could still get 120, 130 targets and be fine. So I'm going to take Darnell Mooney here. Hopefully the offense is really good for the Bears, because if it is, and Justin Fields ends up being really good, it'll be scary what the 2 receivers there can do.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. I think he's probably the best player available here. I might screw you a little bit more at tight end. I'll take my guy, Greg Dulcich.
Why would you take 2 tight ends?
Because I want a backup tight end, bro.
You don't need a backup tight end. That's the worst fantasy advice you could ever give anybody.
Well, look, dude. I thought he was the best player available. I'm going to take the best player available.
I was like, oh,
How about that advice?
I already drafted a tight end.
I'm going to take this is even worse advice. Ready?
I'm going to take Greg Dulcich because
I'm going to take a wide receiver handicap and go Sky Moore. So I got Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney.
See, now I was going to take Sky Moore too, so you double sniped me. You jerk. Okay.
It makes sense though, because if he's probably the only receiver I'll tell you to handicap, but if you're that, maybe a Michael Thomas would be another guy. But players like that, I would be okay with having their other wide receivers, especially Toney, because Sky Moore has potential to break out. And if Toney gets hurt and you have Toney on your team, you can just plug Sky Moore in, and I think he'd do just fine.
I'm going to take the other Chiefs receiver, Rashee Rice.
Whoa. I don't like that, bro.
Listen, it's the 12th round. What do you expect me to do?
No, I mean, that's fine. But
crazy things.
I'm not a big Rice guy, but who knows? In Dynasty, maybe take a flyer, but I'm not crazy about it.
After I would agree with you. I just wanted a piece of the Chiefs receiver.
Bro, you don't have a tight end.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I didn't want any of the last 3 tight ends that got drafted. Devin Singletary, Tyler Higbee, Rondale Moore, Donta Foreman, Ezekiel Elliott, Jonathan Mingo, Gerald Everett, and then Bryce Young all come off the board. Then we have Mostert, Jones, Sam Laporta, Rashawn Johnson, Tank Bigsby, Romeo Dobbs, Michael Gallup, and Leonard Fournette come off the board, who does not have a football team, and then it's my pick again. I'm gonna take Kyler Murray. I'm gonna take a late round risk on another quarterback, so then when Aaron Rodgers sucks for the Jets, I can reach out to Rick and say, hey, I need Greg Dulcich on my team. That's a bad idea. Don't trade Greg Dulcich for.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go with the 2020 to 2022 Green Bay Packers quarterback room, with Aaron Rodgers as my starter and Jordan Love as my backup.
Wow, that's interesting. That's an interesting stack you got there.
Yeah, I got the.
You can't.
If Love breaks out, then I got him. If not, I got Rodgers. You know, it's the old strategy of the veteran quarterback with the youngster backup who could have a breakout year.
I just draft the rushing superstars that are hurt when I already have a quarterback. So
I mean, that could work out. Or you could drop him by week 2 after he announces that he's playing Call of Duty the rest of the year. I will go with a running back who is not on the team right now, but I think has a little bit left in the tank and will sign somewhere sooner, and that is Kareem Hunt.
Interesting. I'm going to go with Mike Gesicki because I need a tight end. I was thinking about going Dawson Knox. I think this is
I don't know. I think they're kind of in the similar boat, but I don't mind the Gesicki. If Hopkins does not sign with the Patriots, I like the Gesicki pick.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's the 14th round, so
it's in the 14th round. Yes, let me preference that.
I'm starting to think I need to get on the tight end train.
Yeah, you do, bro.
Back when I was thinking
is
about
Darren Waller still too early in the 6th round?
I was thinking about Freiermuth, and I took Addison, and I should have just taken Freiermuth.
Yeah, that would have helped you out.
But anyway, Juwan Johnson, Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud, Dawson Knox, Jalen Hyatt, Matt Stafford, Jalen Warren, and is that Jalen Reed?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Interesting.
So there you have it. We have a mock draft here. Two very interesting teams. I have Trevor Lawrence as my quarterback, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs as my running backs, Amon-Ra, Calvin Ridley as my 2 wide receivers, Mike Gesicki as my tight end, Christian Watson, Antonio Gibson as my flexes. Don't love it. I don't know what something making me feel off about this team. I have Addison, Gabe Davis, Devin Akane, Darnell Mooney, Rashee Rice, and then Kyler Murray on the benchones.
For me, I got Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Swift. My receivers, Diggs and A.J. Brown. Love that duo. Darren Waller at tight end. Debo at flex, along with Kadarius Toney. My bench is A.J. Dillon, Jameson Williams, Greg Dulcich, Sky Moore, Jordan Love, and Kareem Hunt.
There you go. Lots of good players on that list. Got an interesting mock draft here. Let us know who won in the comments. I don't love this team for me. I'm not happy.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it, Mike.
Yeah, there you go. All right. QB Sleepers on the next episode. Be sure to check it out. See you later, guys.
Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.